Hi, I'm Stephen Garvey with National Citizens Alliance, and I have Marcine with us today, and we're expecting more people to join in. And also, we're going to be looking at the social media comments as they come in. The first part of this, we're going to go over some basic facts on the federal debt and central banks. So everyone has a factual basis to talk about this subject. And then we're going to get input from Marcine and the other people as they come into our studio today. This is a very, very serious subject. Um, Basically, it's evolving the finances of the country, and you can apply it to any other country as well, through the central banks, the public lending right, and what's happening with that. But you should have a good understanding of this when we're complete our dialogue today. I will talk about the policy, Marcine, as well, the NCA policy on this as well. And we are grassroots non-establishment, and we want to do what's best for the people. So today I have a document I'm going to go through. There's a few graphs that will be really, really telling of what's going on. There's the graph there. I'm just going to go into it. So the first graph we're looking at here, this is the history of the federal debt, and we're starting April 20th to 1968, and the last time we updated this was July 10 to 20. And what we see here, this is just at the cusp of this pandemic. July 10th, it was already starting, the lockdown, and then it accelerated from there. But at that point, from 1968 to July 10, 2020, 98.13% of the debt was accumulated from that period. During that period, the Liberal Party added over 38% of this, and the so-called Conservative Party added close to 60%. And that's just facts. And it works out to the Liberal Party added 299 billion during that period from 1968, and that's when this is when Pierre Trudeau came into power, and the so-called Conservative Party added 463 billion during that period, primarily from Mulroney and Harper. Mulroney was over 300 billion, and Harper was around 144 billion. So just those two prime ministers alone added a huge chunk, and that took us to 98.13. We are paying interest on that money, but we will get into that. The important message is that as of today, the federal debt is over $1 trillion. On March 9th, it was 1.079 trillion, and that's book value. Market value is a lot higher. We updated our graph to December 15 to 20, and this is factoring in the lockdown, and the Liberals overtook the Conservatives in federal debt spending. The total debt increased to 98.53 of the total. Prior to 1968, the country didn't really have any debt. It was like at most 14 billion. But now the Liberals have added 51.84 of this total. Since January 11th, the Trudeau regime has added almost 300 billion to the federal debt. But it's safe to assume any other establishment party would have added a lot of debt as well during the lockdown. And that's the history there. The Conservatives are at 46.68. So the big asterisk here is the lockdown COVID. So they're just pouring the debt on. And important thing to keep in mind that this all started when Pierre Trudeau, the establishment in Ottawa, shifted the public lending right to central banks, gave them authorization to the authority to print our currency. And this is called money supply. And if we look down here, you see 1971, there was very little money supply. And we're looking at M1. This is currency, M1 money supply. And we see that it gradually increased when they shifted the public lending rate. The central banks are printing our money. And then it exploded under Harper regime. And then it kept going up under Trudeau. And then you see during the pandemic here in 220, 221, it just went straight up. So what they did during the pandemic lockdown, they were printing money like crazy to keep things afloat. And the graph shows this. The trouble with this is that the more you print money, the more you devalue the Canadian dollar. And we see this in inflation here. In 1971, $100, the same product that you would pay for $100 in 1971, you would have to pay $677.45 in 221. That's a 577.45% increase in inflation. A lot of it is attributable to the central banks printing our money. You can make a case that the monetary system is out of control. And another thing, what this does, I'm just going to get back to this here. We got James Fawcett here. James, we will bring you in as well. But what this does, what this money supply does is it creates inflation because it devalues the dollar. You have less purchasing power. The second, and therefore it acts as a hidden tax on the average Canadian, the common Canadian, on your savings, on your purchasing power. The whole system is out of control. I'm going to bring, that's what I wanted to share. I do have something on the NCA policies, but I want to hear from Marcine and James first. I'm going to bring Marcine in here to get her input.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah. So what did you think of those? Those are good basic facts, aren't they,
That's a
Marcine?
fact. Yes. It's pretty clear where we're going, isn't it?
Well, you see, look, isn't that amazing? During the lockdown, you see the money supply. It's
It's
it's like it's a vertical straight up
straight up. No, it's staggering. I think the only way out of this mess is a complete and utter collapse. There's nowhere to go.
because the reason they're also the money supply, James. The reason they're doing is to keep everything afloat, the fiat currency, right?
Exactly.
And you know what I heard too? They're doing
Tell
the same in the stock markets, right?
Oh,
50%. 50% of the money in the stock market is from the printing of the money.
no, it's fantastic. I've waited my whole life to get to this point. So we're right at that precipice now.
What do you think is going to happen, Marcine?
Utter collapse.
When?
Any minute now, like literally any minute. This is as
So you
close.
think we're on the verge? Like it could be next week, a
Oh,
month?
I'm going to say, yeah, I feel days. I know that Mr. Trump was in, I think, Switzerland, signing some stuff up a couple days ago. So we're talking about a global reset in the best way, not in the evil deep state way. But I don't know if you know this or how aware you are of the stuff going on behind the scenes, all this work that's been going down in the last 3 or 4 years with all the arrests globally. Um, Pierre Trudeau, I know, has been wearing a, well, I think he started off with an ankle bracelet, but I think he's microchipped now. But he was served with a U.S. Indictment in March of 2020. So he's just been sitting there as a stooge taking up space while all this stuff is going down in the world. And I'm sure everybody can notice that governments are falling, giant institutions are falling. It's just happening. It's a beautiful thing.
What do you
Don't
think's gonna happen? Yeah, what do
I
you
think
think's gonna happen?
I think it's going to be bumpy. Make no
It's
mistake.
it, no,
But
it's already bumpy right now.
oh, it's going to
It's
be worse.
extremely volatile right now.
No, I think it'll get a little bit more hectic, but
Okay.
through the other side, I think is going to be amazing, and it's going to be up to us. This is an amazing time because we, the people, have a chance to
Yeah.
say what we want.
It's
So let's do,
also yeah.
so let's do
Go
it right
ahead.
this time. I think we can do better.
Yeah, exactly. And look at it. Isn't it outrageous, James?
It is. It really is. And to the point of saying, history's taught us a lot in the past. We've already done this before.
True.
Um, so realistically, at least someone or a group of people trying to better the situation. I'm hoping that is the case. I do believe, as you do, I have followed that information as well. Um, and it's very positive to look at. It will be bumpy. There will be a lot of uncertainty and job losses, and hoping that they honestly
Yep.
reopen the economy, which it seems like they're starting to kneel to public pressure quite a bit, which is a good sign. But at the same time, they're still following basis in facts. So the market will recover a little bit. But as Steve pointed out, yeah, that I've noticed even our dollar is going up, and I'm trying to figure out, we're still majority locked down. How is our dollar still climbing? Again, we have deals and trade deals and all the rest of it, but there's not a lot going on behind the scenes. I mean, we still don't have a budget. It's over 2 years, so it's kind of it's going to be rough. It's going to be bumpy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's already extremely volatile in the markets right now, Marcy.
Yes.
And I think there's some indications that something's coming because we had there was a major correction in growth stocks about a week ago, and now they rebounded a bit, but it's very volatile. There's some finance people that are predicting that this crash will match 1929, 2000.
Oh, I think it's bigger than that.
So how low do you think it'll go, the market? Because 50% of it is this fiat currency being pumped in to prop it up.
Uh, that's just a giant black hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think this is epic collapse like we've never seen before. I was looking at something from the Bank of Canada the other day, something about keeping their target on hold at a quarter of a percent, which is quite right because there's no place to go. It's just
Yeah, if they go up, if they
it
go up with the interest rates, that's going to hurt the markets
exactly.
because money's going to flow to the bonds. That's what's been happening.
Yep. Another thing that I find interesting, speaking of banking, central banks, and things like this, I've been moving money over to cryptos and gold and silver and various things like this. I get a call from my bank every transaction, and some of the questions that they're asking me now are very interesting. Like the last one was something like, "Am I being coerced? Is somebody basically coercing me to make this Bitcoin purchase?" That is wild stuff. Yeah, that
So
tells me
they're afraid. They're afraid,
they're
eh?
freaking scared. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
telling you, Steve, that was like a great call.
interesting.
Had an
And
interview with that guy. As a matter of fact, I asked him what's going on that they would prompt those questions. It's fascinating. Love
but
it.
also the Bank of Canada put a statement out
Yeah.
deterring people from investing in
Oh,
cryptocurrencies.
well, this is the stuff that we're going to hear, isn't it? Don't touch,
Yes.
don't touch gold because you know that's what they don't want. So, yeah.
Yeah,
That
I'm being very careful myself. I'm still in the market on maybe 20% or something, but I feel there could be a crash tomorrow. It
yeah,
could happen any day now.
I feel before the
Eh,
end of April.
do you?
I do.
That's what that's what a lot of people are saying, but who knows? It could be a year, it could be 2 years. It
Well,
depends how long they want to keep it going, right?
I say exactly. You're quite right there because I feel like things remaining constant. That's the way I feel today. But things are changing so fast. I mean, I tell you, I look at the news headlines globally. I don't look at anything more than 6 hours old because it's basically old news.
Yeah.
It's moving fast.
Yeah, you got to be really careful of the mainstream commentators
Yeah,
because
you can't,
they're saying buy, hold,
right?
they're encouraging people to stay in the market, right?
They are. And I think even by the end of this year, if you have fiat currency, you will probably lose up to 20% of your value. It's
Oh
happening fast.
wow,
15 to 20%. It's not, it's crazy times.
so that's almost a really compelling case to buy fixed gold.
Other currencies, yeah.
Yes. No,
Well,
but not yes,
we're moving to gold, that's for sure. This central bank stuff is over.
because the dollar is going to take a beating, right?
Just a
If there's
frick.
a crash. So
Yeah,
even though you got money waiting, it's not going to be worth much.
no. Also, the value for your, I mean, just shopping, simple things that you shop for all the time, you'll see less value for the things that you buy always. You see what I'm saying? This is it's a mess.
So would you
Yeah,
would you compare that to like Germany in World War II, where literally paper was useless and everything cost like an arm and a leg, or would you compare that to would be so cheap
Well,
that
yeah, there that in addition to shortages as well. I mean,
yeah,
somebody raised a point back there about having done this before. Of course, what we know about evil is it's not clever; it's just psychopathic. So they have no intention of
yeah, and
making
it's
it good.
narcissistic in nature.
Trudeau is a psychopath.
Yeah,
So our country is being run by psychopaths. Well, the world
uh,
is being run by psychopaths. It has to stop.
yeah,
Madness has
no,
to end, and people need to wake up.
yeah, yeah, because they're getting they're on the losing end of all this money supply.
Always the people.
And where's this money going? It's going to the bailouts. It's going to these big investment companies,
It's
right?
going nowhere good.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to big private hedge funds to
Just
support craziness.
that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
So
No
you
way.
think it's a good idea to be invested in physical gold bars?
100%.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they're also playing with the price of gold too.
they are, but I think it's still the safest bet. One amongst the
Yeah.
safest bets right
Yeah.
now. Money
Yeah.
it can't buy. It's not it.
It'll be interesting what happens to something like Bitcoin after a crash.
Oh, there's a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, Bitcoin seems to be the way of the future.
Do you think
And
it'll get a hit? It'll probably get a hit though from a crash, right?
I do. I think Bitcoin is going to go to the moon at some point, but who knows what the long-term plan is. But there's institutional money in it now. There's really amazing
Yeah.
stuff being built on Ethereum, on the Ethereum blockchain. It's
Yes.
really amazing stuff. So if the deep state and the evil players just step aside, like really beautiful things have the potential of happening.
What do you think the impact of a crash will be on the value of Bitcoin?
Bitcoin is doing its thing, but what it does, and I've been watching Bitcoin since 2014. I got fairly interested in it, but what it does is it rises, it takes off, then it comes back by maybe 30%, then it'll take off again, come back down again, somewhere between 25, 23 to 30% again. So it's been a while now, enough to see a bit of a pattern. And when people realize that the, their money in their hands, you know, in the bank accounts have no value, what would you do? You know, in Bitcoin, nobody can screw with it. Like you are your own banker.
Yeah, but if people don't have any money, they can't invest in it.
$100 will take you far,
Yeah.
right? $100 with Bitcoin going to the moon is better than, you know, $100 in the central bank, which is going to zero. That's for sure.
Hi, Louise. Thank you for joining us. Do you have any questions on this topic? We did go into the facts a bit at the beginning. We are all very concerned at what's happening. The system is out of control, the monetary system. They keep printing more money to keep it afloat. And now there's inflationary pressures, Marcine.
Inflationary pressures, to be
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, it simply can't sustain, Steve, can it? I mean,
no.
it just cannot sustain. Like there has to be a triggering event of some sort that shifts the whole situation. I don't see any other way. Do you
Yeah.
think?
Well, something's going to give. The whole. I think the central banks may lose control of everything, and then it'll crash.
I think that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that's because you can only print so much. Eventually, something's going to give. And I listened to one finance person. I thought it was pretty interesting. He thinks we're already in a downturn right now, but it's so volatile. Like we were seeing the growth stocks getting really affected, and then we're seeing the venture stocks getting affected, and then eventually it can start to get over into the value stocks. But Louise is asking, is Bitcoin better than the dollar?
In my opinion, yes. I've been trying to get rid of fiat for solidly the past 3 years, slowly by slowly. Hmm.
I think that's smart because if there is a crash, you're right.
And
Uh,
I've
the
sold.
money you have is going to be worth even less.
I've pretty much started about 6 years liquidating everything, and have pretty much converted almost everything. I'm in my final fiat now, but yeah,
Wow.
everything physical, all the fiat, all converted. Hmm.
And we can see the inflation in the commodities, even
Oh
oil,
yeah.
food, the price of food.
Oh, and
Uh,
food. That's a really good point too.
yeah, it's all increasing. Meanwhile, your purchasing power is decreasing.
Decreasing. Hmm.
So you
So
got two things going on,
yeah. So
and this is all connected to the money supply.
and we can all see where it's going. I mean, we've all been here before. Evil is not clever. It's not creative. It just does what it's done before. This is
Yeah,
not like the old playbook.
I'm wondering what the impact of a crash will be on Bitcoin.
Oh, I
Yeah,
think yeah, go ahead.
oh, thank you. I think that has a lot to do with how much they have backed up, like how much actual resources and other financial backing that they might have that's actually a solid uh, backer as opposed to just a fiat currency. They have more, what's the right word I'm thinking of here?
This is where Tether
If
is.
they have more solid assets as opposed to liquid fake money, then they're more likely to come out of it with minimal loss. Whereas if they don't, then they're more likely to obviously take a bigger hit. So I would say, off the top of my head, based on a rough number, anywhere between 20 and 34%. That's rough, but I think that was the last evaluation of the Bitcoin I saw. I stopped watching it last year, so that could be quite a bit different than now.
So I'm wondering, it might be a good strategic thing to unload some Bitcoin now and then wait for the crash and then go back into it. Marcine?
I I was here thinking about you as I was hearing your words. It's going to be volatile if you have that kind of energy to play the ups and downs. But I'm pretty happy to just sit for a
Yeah,
while.
sit. That's
Yes,
not a bad approach because as long as you know it's an unrealized loss and until it's a realized. So if you keep it in the long term and your
that,
vision is correct, you will be rewarded. The one advantage of stepping out is that you can buy Bitcoin pretty cheap if it does drop pretty significantly.
yeah, you can buy those dips to be sure, and
Yeah.
some exchanges have some really great little triggers so that you can keep your eye on the ball and all of that stuff. So, and it's fun. It's really easy, and it's getting easier. I've
So
noticed.
where do you buy it? I did try buying it myself.
Mm,
I felt the institutions are putting up a lot of hurdles to buying it.
they sure are. That's why I've just been slowly. I don't want to. I don't want anybody looking at me, right? So I just buy
What
my.
platform? What platform do you buy it on? Because I tried some platforms, and they're
Spring.
saying they're saying I can only use a credit card. So I use my credit card. Then they say I can only buy $300 worth.
Yes. So
You see?
many, yeah, many places don't accept credit cards because, say, you bought something, an investment on your credit card, and it went down.
Crashes.
Yeah, you could phone the
So
credit card.
how do you pay for it?
I use a debit card, and then I just constantly load money into the exchange and make the transaction, and then
Oh,
move
I
it
see.
to a
So
wallet.
it's like a digitalized credit card.
I just use my debit card.
Really?
Yeah, and I
Wow.
use Kraken, Coinbase, and Qcoin because we're Canadians.
And then we have a comment here. I'm just looking. He said we need to force our governments to print our money, our own money, and form the treasury 100%. No more central banks and the Fed. Yes, I think we're all
Yeah,
talking about that today. That gentleman or woman is definitely on the mark there. That's something we support at NCA. It's a real tough battle though because they have so much control. Uh, they've been making trillions of dollars off us,
trillion, and they're illegal.
trillions and trillions.
They're not even legal. Neither are taxes,
Yeah.
for that matter. But I don't know if you know, but the Vatican is down. The central London is down. Washington D.C. is down. So the trifecta has quite literally been taken out. So we're fairly advanced into this takedown. Oh yes, my friends, it's happening.
Yeah. Oh, definitely is.
Yep.
And Luis is saying they have a credit debit card.
Not a credit, but debit.
Is that
Use
but is that through any main bank or is
yeah, mine is through the bank. I put mine through the bank, and that's because I want to have a all the tracks of it.
yeah, I'll talk
Yeah.
to my bank about that. I want to be able to I've actually purchased some Bitcoin through an ETF.
Right.
So the one advantage of that, if anyone's listening, is you don't have to physically hold it, right?
That's right.
Though you are tied to it because the price of the ETF goes up when it goes up, it goes down when it goes down, right? So
Right.
it's pretty much the same as owning it, except you don't have any, you can't use it as a currency.
That's right.
So that's another option is to go through the ETFs on them.
It'll just get better and better. The friendliness for cryptos. It's already, in a relatively short time. Say 4 years has even made it so much simpler than it was before. But
So,
I expect it'll get easier.
but what if the institutions want to regulate Bitcoin, like go into it heavy and regulate it?
Oh, this is where I think institutions are going to fall down. This is where the fight is. You know, it is literally between us and them, and quite frankly, I'm not willing to keep my money with them anymore. I'm more
Yeah.
comfortable being my own bank. I think I'll do a far better job of it. Thank you very much. They've just been doing nothing but stealing my whole lifetime right before my eyes. I've had it.
Yeah, in so many different forms.
Yeah, I'm so over it. Like, I am definitely we the people. And I don't care about borders anymore. This is like a global thing happening.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, in terms of Bitcoin and other currencies taking off.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
collapse of the central bank, this is a global thing that's happening. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was talking to some people a week or so ago. They're talking about the quantum financial system, actually having experience of the quantum financial system working. And I've been hearing nothing but repeated, I guess, confirmations that the quantum financial system is actually running in parallel right now and has been since February 25th at 5 p.m. Not sure what time zone though, but 5 p.m. February 25th.
Wasn't that the same time when they had a market interruption?
The 24th was the market interruption.
Yeah.
And so that was all paralleling
Okay.
testing the system as well as that, the inability to close business for a few hours there. That was super telling.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it. Interesting.
Yeah, there's some people forecasting by April, end of April, it could be 70-80% drop in the markets.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like from my perspective. But, things are changing rapidly. And I think there's probably maybe less than 10 people in the whole world that are making the moves. And we must wait.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what triggers it.
Yeah.
Whether they lose control of it or whether they actually decide, okay, let's have a crash.
Well, this is where it was about to happen. I think, where were we? Somewhere in January, late January. But things went a little sideways. And there was one bomb that was not recovered. So they had to make a left turn at Albuquerque in terms of their strategy. So stuff happens. And, these people are in trouble and they're evil, psychopaths. Nothing will surprise me. I'm dying.
Would that have anything to do with Robinhood?
Oh, I think it's bigger than that.
Well, I mean, like why they had to take the left turn, quote unquote, to Albuquerque.
Oh no, there's so many things happening. Again, a whole other giant long conversation. All these dumbs underneath the whole world. All this stuff going on underneath the surface. That's had a significant impact. As a matter of fact, some of this COVID stuff, the white hats were taking advantage of so that they could do that work without people being out in the open and observing them, because, they're just going around literally plucking these evil people out of their lives and throwing them in Gitmo and places like that. Excuse me. Hold on. Sorry, had to let the dog out. Sorry.
No, that's okay. But we're discussing these issues. You at home need to make up your own mind. But there's different approaches you can take. You could wait till after the crash, because there could be a huge opportunity to get in at rock bottom, Marcine.
Yeah, stay
right?
frosty. Yes,
Because the world is going to keep going on, right?
it sure will.
And some of these companies are good out there, and you can get bargain basement deals. I guess the concern that you raised is, what is the value of the dollar going to be after a crash?
0.
Oh,
I think you'll be able to burn it to stay warm.
you think what would cause it to go to 0, Marcy?
It's in a bad state. You said at the
Yeah.
top of the conversation, Steve, all the printing.
Oh yeah, the huge printing. You saw the graph there.
It's worse than that. I'm going to surmise. I mean, I'm certainly no economist, but I'm going to say it's probably worse than what you intimated in the graph.
but it was a good. It showed it going up, and now it's like straight up.
Yeah,
The printing, like they're printing like crazy now
like
just to keep
this.
things afloat.
It's just crazy. It's staggering.
And that money is, um, James. It's fiat. It's not based on productivity.
Nothing.
Well,
So so the real concern now, the markets are so high, yet we're still in a lockdown. We're at very low productivity. It doesn't correlate. You see, the reason it's that high is all the money coming in through the money printing,
Yeah.
well, and the money being
right?
approved to people. So like,
So that's the concern there. It is a financial bubble, a mammoth bubble
A mammoth.
that,
Mhm.
yeah, global, has global proportions.
Yeah.
yeah, one of our very many things I think is a big epicenter in all of that is the housing market. Just watching the value climb through a pandemic is just mind blowing. Up here in Ontario, it's like $600,000. That's the median average right now in Ontario.
Yeah,
Absolutely insane.
but after a crash, those housing prices are going to crash because no one's going to have any money to buy them.
Well, exactly. So
Yeah,
everybody's taking out all these massive loans to get these houses,
that's a
mortgages based
mistake,
on
isn't it?
currency, and then it goes boom, and then what?
Marcin, the prices are going to collapse because
Oh,
no one's going to have any money to pay their mortgages. No
no,
one's going to have any money to buy new houses.
it's going to get messy. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
There's
So
some
my concern listening to you is just the value of the dollar. So I think there is an incentive there to at least invest in some physical gold or silver or something
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
just to protect yourself.
I can't imagine at this late stage why you wouldn't. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
should certainly inform themselves. You know, get in there and do your work and check stuff out. I mean, it's much harder to get to some facts now because they're scrubbing the internet of any worthwhile information like crazy.
Yeah.
But if you get on a VPN or you get to the dark web a little bit, and I don't mean the nasty part, but the stuff underneath this the fake part, there's a lot of information there.
When did you first see this coming, Marcin?
Oh, jeez. I've been staring at this stuff for 20 years. Well, it really
Wow.
started picking up speed 20 years ago.
And
So
what have you seen over those 20 years? Just getting worse and worse?
worse and worse and more reckless. And I can see, it's so obvious, again, the playbook. So they're trying to kill all the old people because the older ones remember how it was before the next generations of mind programming and poison in the food and the waters and dumbing them
Yeah.
down and
Yeah.
a nasty education. So what we have now is a product of that. So
It's
I'm saying we're in a millennial nightmare right now. And
yeah,
it's not,
and it's
but it's just the way of the world. I mean, everybody was so distracted with their stupid handbags and their fashion clothes and this pretty car and a bigger, like, it was just noise to my
yeah,
mind as I was
yeah.
watching it go by. It's like, wow, people are so dumb. Stop being dumb. And here we are.
There's so many layers to it, isn't there?
It's complicated, man. And there, of course, part of that program is extermination, So
Yeah.
killing the old people so they can't tell the younger ones that this isn't right because, having come through a war or two, they're more apt to resist this nonsense. So they're killing those ones off and dumbing down the younger ones like there's no hope.
Yeah. Interesting.
This
And
is
then
a
we're not even talking about the technocracy that they want to implement.
right. There's so many parts to
Yeah.
this. We could talk here for
Yes.
days dismantling this hot mess.
So I think someone, Bruce, I was talking to one of our members, and he was saying they will use this collapse to go into a digitalized currency.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
the play is get everybody to such a weakened state because we've been locked in
Yeah.
our places for over a year now. Get everybody into such a weakened state, including physically with the masks, mentally, emotionally, financially, on all levels. So basically, most of the people will just give up because they'll be so relieved for any bit of relief from your government. And if you think your government has your interests, man, you are dumb. Wake up.
Yeah, you're going to have to wake up. Just the
Food,
money supply, the shift to the central banks. The whole system is rotten.
it's a rotten. It has to go down. I don't see any other way. The whole thing has
It's
to.
not based on productivity and it's not based on fundamentals.
Nothing good. No fundamental that's good.
Yes.
So I think
It'll be interesting to see the impact on Bitcoin. I think there will be a negative impact,
I agree.
Marcine,
Yeah,
just because people are going to have less purchasing power. So, and they may be desperate that they may be cashing it in, right?
yeah, people will panic for sure, but I think they should just stay the course. Get things in place as best you can and hunker down.
Right, right.
Hunker down because it's really going to be amazing on the other side. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's a bunch of good work that's happening behind the scenes that it's going to be really great for the people.
Yeah. And life will go on. And I
Yeah.
think there'll be great opportunities.
Oh, absolutely.
There'll
This
be
is
huge opportunity.
See, I agree with you. I think it's important to not waste too much time looking behind us, but looking forward into a
But
new world.
if
What
you
what can
lose if you lose everything you have, what opportunity are you going to have? So you need to protect whatever wealth you have so you can use it.
protect what you have? But I think, okay, think about this just logically. All these um, giant evil institutions that have been basically torn down, that have stolen all the money for the past several hundred years solidly, like certainly the last 300 for sure, um, or so. Uh, when they took down the Vatican, this is the way it was described. I can't remember. I would just be guessing, but there was a great number of planes, those big cargo carriers that the army uses, and they filled some crazy number. And those things carry a lot of cargo, something like 60. And I could be just picking a number out of the air, but a lot of them full of gold, full, like it's a gene decode. Anyway, he talks about how much gold was in the tunnels underneath Vatican City. Well, it's all been recaptured, and I think all of those stolen gajillions, I think, will benefit the people on the other side of the fall. We have to go through some shit. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, we don't want to scare anyone today, but
If you
um,
now is
you
not the
know,
time for the buttercups.
yeah, the facts are there. They're undeniable.
Yeah.
We're living in this fiat system.
Mm-hmm.
It's being supported by accelerated money supply, which is not connected to productivity.
Or anything for that matter.
Anything. They're just printing this money,
Thin
and
air.
then they give it to their corporate buddies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's the reality of the situation.
That is.
But there will be a crash because of this. It may be a partial crash, like in 2000, Marcine.
Yeah. I mean,
It could be, and then they want to keep it going, and they try and push it a bit longer, right? So we don't know for sure.
I don't think anybody really knows for sure, but just from
So, but we know some kind of crash is coming, whether it's the biggest one ever, but something is coming
something is coming yet to be
because
seen.
because this can't can continue.
It
The
cannot.
whole market is booming right now, yet the reality on the ground is that we're in a lockdown.
It's
So there's
just
no correlation.
no. It's nothing makes sense anymore, does it?
So they're printing our money like crazy. We showed the graph. It's basically a horizontal line now, straight up.
Yeah.
They're printing like crazy. And that's inflationary because it's devaluing the dollar. You have less purchasing power now.
And getting less.
Your savings is worth less because of that. Every time they're printing your money, your savings are worth less.
Less and less.
Yeah. So we're not
And
going
your
to give
taxes
you
are high.
advice. We're not going to give you advice, but we're thinking that it'd probably be a good safeguard to have some investment in something physical.
Everybody ought to educate themselves and find their
Yeah.
comfort. It's just the world we live in now. So there's really no ignorance is a choice. Like everything is available, so go get it. Go find.
Yeah.
Go find
Exactly.
what you need to know.
So you're predicting by the end of April, Marcy?
Given where we are right now, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
The markets are highly volatile right now.
It's true. I mean, truthfully, we simply can't sustain, and certainly a big country, I mean, the first country of the world, America, simply can't sustain. Nobody can. It'll be in a tailspin. We don't have time to wait to see how it's going to go, We'll all be in a tailspin if we just keep this holding pattern. This isn't going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unbelievable. James, do you want to add anything? James?
Bear with me here. My internet kind of crap. No, I agree. Even with, still mainly most part country really benefiting. Oh, no surprise, it's China. But every day, so yeah, just and it's all gonna play out.
Yeah, hold the line, people. Stay steady.
Oh, shit.
Seriously, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to find out whether we're going to go deep into the Great Reset and they're gonna sink everything and then bring out this digitalized currency, right? And go and just push that agenda, right? And Great Reset has so many different layers to it. Obviously, there's the 5G AI side to it, which is
oh
critical, right?
man, oof, that's a conversation.
So we have a comment here. The Bank of Canada is not department of our government. It is a private corporation for profit.
Yep.
That private corporation loans our government money with interest that it prints out of thin air. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I would, and this Bank of Canada is part of this central banking cabal.
It all is, yes,
Yeah.
and quite quite right what your commenter said there. The whole thing is illegal, and yet we abide. The people abide. It's enough. We've had enough. They've been stealing from us. I mean, to the point where people can't even function. I mean, how do young people buy a house? How do they do it? I mean, I have grown kids, and the hope for them to buy a house with one income, so the other one can be with the children. That's just a distant memory. I think that's not right.
Oh, that's
It's
been
not
gone.
natural.
That's been gone for well over
That's
15 years,
of course. That's what
right?
they
Like
say in the last 20.
getting raised, my mom's single mother.
This is part of the program as well, is to disrupt the family ideals. Spirit and family. They're trying to get those ideas out of our heads, aren't they?
Yes.
Fast food and no family dinner at the table because everything's packaged and all this noise. It's just so wrong. We've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Big time.
We
Big
have
time.
to.
It's very. Uh, and the worst is yet to come. If
Uh-huh.
they continue, right? So this is only the beginning of what they're up to. But
Oh,
uh,
Steve, if Hillary would have got in, Trudeau would have lost his mind, and we would all be quarantined in some freaking camp, being exterminated by now.
Well, Biden's in.
Crazy crackers.
Well, he's. I think it shows that he's just a puppet,
let's be
right?
honest.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say,
Well, so is Trudeau.
Yeah.
Trudeau's, he's a puppet.
Like who? Yeah, it's obvious he's a puppet, you know, and the political realm is just a stage.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be nice if people got their heads pulled together and we actually moved forward with real change in government, something that suits the new world? Because we are no longer in the 50s. This is,
Yeah.
we've
I don't know what.
our education system, we're still teaching kids the same garbage in school
Yeah,
that
exactly.
flogging on me in the 50s and 60s.
100%. I was thinking that the other day. You
You
know, the only thing different from the 50s is the online activity now, but
Yeah.
now they're censoring that. So we're actually no different than the 50s,
No, it's a mess.
right?
Another day went by and I did not use trigonometry again.
So, yeah, we'll have to look into that. The Money Masters. I don't know about that. Bill
that's
Still,
Yeah, that's good stuff.
is it? Yeah.
Interesting.
What does he talk about?
Oh, there's a few different sources for it, but back in the 90s, there was a little production called The Money Masters, and it had a few different parts, but it was super comprehensive. And if anybody
Okay.
needed to have a little history lesson about money changers right from the beginning, it was quite an excellent little tour through
Okay.
banks.
Okay. Yeah, it's something worth looking into. We're going to look at Ryan's comment there. He says, I do believe Bitcoin is a valid alternative to fiat currency. Keep your money somewhere other than the bank. Any thoughts?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I think the big issue with the banks, I guess it's on multiple. The first thing is that they could come in and claim your money,
They've done
right?
that.
Yeah.
They've done that.
Another thing is currency collapse. So even if you have your money in the bank, if the dollar is worthless, that means what you have in the bank is worthless, right? So
But if you have a stack of gold in your mattress, you're set.
yes, you're set definitely for a depression
Yeah,
as long
Even
as no one's
even a little bit.
Yeah.
Some silver coins. There's some really
Yeah.
great deals on silver coins.
oh, I got
Yeah.
a ton of those. Oh, excuse me.
But I think with Bitcoin, I still think it's gonna. If there is a crash, it will take a hit.
I imagine it'll parallel gold. It'll do its own thing, but I think the two of them will probably, on some ways, run together for a little while. I think.
You think so, eh?
I kind of think so. But Bitcoin will have do its thing, of course. But I'm confident. I'm confident with Bitcoin.
I think in the long term, yes, but I'm worried that people will be so desperate that they may pull their money out of there, or there won't be the inflow in to keep it going.
All of those are possibilities, but look, we're all in it together, aren't we? We're all in it together, and I think together we'll get through it as well. But one way or another, we're going through hell. The only way is through it. Winston
Yeah.
Churchill.
So the one good thing about gold, it has a very good track record.
Sure does.
What is it, over 1,200 years of consistent performance? So
Yeah.
So that's something to consider. I'm invested in Bitcoin now, but I am concerned with what could come and the impact on that. So,
Yes. Everybody has their comfort.
it is, depending on your view, you could argue Bitcoin's based on faith.
I think in 14 it was, but I think we've got some big institutional money. Um, even was it not? Where are we? 21, 20, approximately
So
19. The central bank was playing with crypto for a little while, and then the other day I had a talk with somebody who called me to check the security. Um, Said no, they're out of it now. So that I thought was interesting.
yeah, I'm thinking along Jake's line as well. He's he says he doesn't trust Bitcoin. Better to buy gold or silver. If everything goes to shit, who's going to take payment in Bitcoin?
Well, that's exactly it. I think everybody has to find their level of comfort, and cryptos aren't for everybody. I'm a believer, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think people got to make their own choice.
100%. Yeah, based on your own exploration, your own education, But there's exciting
Yeah,
times for the
yeah.
people.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. But no, but this is a good point too. When you're mining Bitcoin, can you tell who's using your machine?
No,
Uh,
no, it's we can see who the transaction, but not the person.
right, right.
All the transactions are transparent.
Yeah, and another approach is to be invested in both,
Yes.
right?
Spr-
So you don't have to go one or the other, right?
exactly. Sprinkle it around.
But I guess the big underlying question is, when is this going to happen? I'm seeing signs right now.
I think
The markets are extremely volatile.
it's crazy. It's crazy out there.
And what's this? Jake says try finding a graphics card today. Long wait. Does that make sense?
There's long waits. Yes. I mean, in are we talking about the exchanges and the wallets and stuff? Yeah,
Oh
there's
yeah. All the wallets and stuff.
yeah, long waits, but they're steady. I'd say it's steady, but I've definitely noticed a delay in the transactions. But
Oh, you have.
yeah, but they still get it
Yeah.
done.
I
Mhm.
think the key is a debit card, eh? Then you don't get the institutional hurdles.
That's right. It's just the cleanest, easiest, and I have a record, and
So
yes.
yours is like a digitalized debit card,
No, I just use a regular debit card
and it works online
on the exchange. Yes.
on the exchange.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I think in KuCoin I put in I used a transfer at the post office. From you can get a QR code, and then that's how you transfer the money to the exchange, and then you can make your transactions after that. It's another way to do it.
Yeah, we'll have to do a follow up to this meeting today.
Sure.
Marcin, I'll let you know. We'll have to let's wait a few weeks and we can
Yeah.
monitor the markets and we can discuss our what we've done in the meantime. I know that you've already made huge strides in separating yourself from the fiat currencies.
Yes.
So you're well protected from a crash then.
I've been yeah, I've been watching it coming for a while, and I expected it would. I thought we were pretty close to it previously, but no, we're now it's upon us, and there's no going back. I don't see that we're going back. Mm-mm.
What are the main reasons you think that
Oh,
that we're close?
the craziness, that's obvious. The mainstream narrative, if you will, which is crazy, is just absolutely senseless right now. But moreover, the absolute the silence is deafening on the stuff that matters. Like I'm it's I'm finding it hard to get any decent intel. It's just dead quiet. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I find the mainstream commentators in finance they're just perpetuating the status quo.
Yeah, it's just a script. They make no sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Jake, I put a link to our website. There's a donation page there so you can it's along the main menu. So thank you for that. You will get a tax receipt. Um, for donations 400 or less, you get 75% back on your taxes, but what's going to happen after a crash, right?
Stand by.
Stand by on that, but Jake says buy your own miner.
Yeah,
What
so
does that mean?
if you scroll down a little farther,
Okay.
um,
Oh,
it says,
mining Bitcoin.
yeah,
Yeah.
I heard the term before. I just know you're also talking about commodities, so it's kind of like caught a little off there. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that.
They're around $8,000 or so, and I just read a couple days ago. There's a couple of particular components that distinguish the newer ones from the older ones. I'll see if I can find that little tidbit and shoot it back to you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to monitor the situation. It is extremely volatile. The markets, for anyone here, you would know that there's ups, there's downs. Um, it it's just hard to keep up with it. I've actually pulled out almost 90%, Marcine,
Me too. Out of
because
the yeah.
because I've lost confidence, right?
Uh,
So, and
you might.
I don't want to wake up, with a, let's say $100,000 book value, and wake up in the morning it's worth 1,000.
And that's the kind of volatility we're in right now.
Yeah,
I do not see that as a safe place. I've got I've got a little bit of money left over, like a few $1,000 in there that I'll rip out.
yeah. I'm
But
playing it day by day. I'm just
right on.
I'm but it's a fraction. Like I made 500 US today on a investment, big deal, but why not try to make a little bit more, right?
That's right. $500 in altcoins could give you a tidy little something.
$2,500 to buy miner, depending what coins you mine. You can recoup costs in 3 months.
Yeah. I
So
have a friend.
where would you go to buy this miner?
I have friends. I have friends who have friends.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. We're gonna have to, like I said, do a follow up. James, did you learn anything today, or was this mostly what you knew?
Um, Most of what I knew for the most part, there was some stuff in there. Bitcoin and mining, realizing that Bitcoin was quite a bit more affirmative than what I had originally assessed. Like I said, I hadn't been following it in a while, been following other things. So, yeah, it's still always good to have another perspective on and actually have some people watching us and being active in the input. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, we covered a lot. If you came in late, just go back and you can listen. We presented some facts at the beginning, some basic facts, and I think Marcine made a good point. Whatever's coming out of the government, the Bank of Canada, take it with a grain of salt. It's probably a lot worse than what they're saying in terms of the money supply.
Hmm.
Marcine?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's
Yeah,
worse, and I think the
yeah.
things going to be spewing out into the mainstream are it's gonna be crazy town. You can't believe anything almost.
Yeah, and I think one thing to look for when this crash happens, whether it's going to be like the crash of crashes, or is it going to be something like in 2000. And then they try to keep the ball rolling a bit longer. Marcine?
Well, this is what we don't know, and what
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out is how the story is going to end. But I think it's going to be epic. I don't think it's going to be a whisper. Mm-mm.
Where did you buy your gold, Marcine? Is there
Uh, I enjoy this place called Silver Gold Bull in Calgary.
are you in Calgary?
I'm not at the now. I'm in the mountains on the west coast. Because
Okay. Silver Gold Bull, it's called?
silver, yeah, Silver Gold Bull in Calgary, and they have a great service.
Okay,
Secure.
because you got to be careful because I heard some of the gold it's only coated, some of them, like they're ripping you off. So you
Uh,
want to make sure you get solid gold
Solid gold.
bars.
Nine, yeah. But they have a nice array of stuff, and the price is just a little bit less than most others that I've seen.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that.
And they're secure, and yeah, they're great.
The price is going down to gold, isn't it?
Yeah, everything's
It's very volatile.
everything's volatile. Mhm.
Yeah. Growth stocks were up today, but they had a major correction last week, and um, there's some good companies there, but like I said, I think there'll be a huge opportunity if there is a crash to go in because life is going to go on.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Unless this is the crash of crashes, right? Which will change everything, right?
it'll
So
change everything. Yeah,
we'll have
and
to see what happens, right? Because
I think
you have to, there has to be mechanisms to invest, right?
I think people should.
Where are these companies going to get their capital from?
I think these are things we can't, like, my mind can't consume those kinds of
Yeah.
questions at this time. Because there's nothing out there that makes sense for me to grab onto to process that. So
Yeah. So we're just going to summarize things right now, but we're going to resume this in about 3 weeks. We're going to see where we're at. Just give it another 3 weeks. That'll take us close to April.
let's see what
uh,
happens.
yeah,
God,
we'll see over the next few weeks, and we'll
well,
hold another dialogue on this.
cool.
But one thing we do know without question is that the inflation of the stock market is not correlating to the productivity on the ground. It's actually the reverse. And we know that around 50% of the money in the stock markets is through the printing of money. And it's not going to you at home, it's going to certain people and certain corporations.
Yeah, they're getting
And these
there.
big investment houses.
Yeah, they're getting yours on your backs of your dollars.
So that disconnect there is causing us to have extreme concern.
Yes.
And now we have inflationary pressures. We see that in commodity. Oil is going up.
Commodity.
The price of food is going up.
Mhm.
What else? Basic travel, right? All the basic things are going up.
Yeah.
The dollar purchasing power is worth
Dollars
less.
go down. Price of
Yeah.
commodity.
So those are facts. The government is way overextended. So what are they going to do? Are they going to tax us more? Which is only going to make it worse, right?
You say
So this is what we're saying. That we're almost, you could argue, between a rock and a hard place, right?
no place to go, is there?
Yeah, except keep printing money.
Except keep going.
So it's quite concerning. I'm going to put up this graph one more time, just for the people who came in later. We'll just put up this graph. I want to show it's pretty telling. Um, so there it is there. I'm just going to go down. This is the monetary supply. And you see, since 1971, the shift to the public lending right is only increased. And it's been since like 2005 that it started they just kept adding 100%, 100%, 100%. And then we saw during the lockdown, Marcine, look, it's a horizontal line straight up.
Yeah, and I would argue that that is actually a soft line compared to the reality.
Yeah.
I think it's
Look
so
at this. It's unbelievable what they're doing.
insane.
And this is the fiat currency. This is M1. So this is strictly physical cash in this graph. Look at that. And look at that during the lockdown. Straight up. And that's inflation right there. That's what's driving inflation. It's actually a hidden tax on the common person, your savings. And that's the reality of it. We're very concerned at NCA. We're going to have more dialogues on this. Wait, I'm just going to get out of this. If everything collapses, Jake, Jake says, what kind of payment would you take to reimburse you for your service product? Good, excellent question. Gold, silver, tangible assets that people can trade, cash and Bitcoin will be useless. Jake argues. Marcine?
Well, again, this is where I think people have to find their comfort.
Yeah. There's no set, is there?
No, I'm pretty happy to trade in Bitcoin with people who are willing to trade in Bitcoin for services. So, and others are not. So that's okay. Also, the gold exchanges also offer silver coins in abundance, all kinds of them, and
Do
that's
they? Yeah.
in anticipation of this. Maybe we'll encounter a weird time where it'll be like going back 700 years and we're trading in silver coin. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
who knows? Well, let's see. But I think it's going to be okay. It'll work out.
Yeah. Katia says buy silver when you still can. It may not even be available, so you better buy it while you can. She's saying.
Yeah, there's delays in shipping. Yeah.
So I think a good approach. What I'm learning here is why not take a diversified approach? You could have some physical silver, physical gold,
That's it.
and you may want to have a bit of Bitcoin.
Yeah, why not keep your eggs not in one basket?
My concern with Bitcoin, as I voiced already, is what is the impact of a crash going to be on Bitcoin's value? Because
That's
I know gold's going to go through the roof
yes, and
with a major crash, but will Bitcoin?
let us see. But I say I'm a believer.
Yeah.
I see the ecosystem of it and all the great things. And as an individual person, why you wouldn't want sovereignty, to be a sovereign being, to have control over your body, your money, everything about you. You're a sovereign being.
Yeah.
So there's places that you can keep your cryptocurrency in a place like a bank, but kind of defeats the purpose of having that currency.
Exactly. And one of the great things about Bitcoin is you don't have to worry about the government diluting it by printing it.
Exactly, and it's
Yeah.
certainly the way it appears at this time. I'm more comfortable with Bitcoin and retrieving value in time because it's not going to come from a dollar. This I
No.
know.
If anything, the dollar's going to collapse.
That's what it looks like to me. So
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. And Marcine mentioned silver gold bull as a potential place to buy gold and silver. But just be careful what you're buying. If you're, you want to make sure you're not getting something that's just coated. Marcine?
now these ones, this is a long reputable service.
Yeah, you want solid silver, solid gold, if
They
that's what you're buying.
Yes, they only sell top quality, pure. They don't have a long list, but it's a very good and comprehensive list of product. Something everybody. I think there's something for everybody there.
So we're going to do this in 3 weeks again, and we can update everyone on the market, what's happening. I can share my progress at my own personal end, what decisions I've made, and I'm pretty confident I will have physical gold. Um, Obviously in a secure location, because that's something you got to worry about when you actually get gold. You want to make sure it's safe and right.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So whether that's in that's where a bank could come in, a safety deposit box. Marcin?
Yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, Silver Gold Bull allows you to keep your products within um, their secure environment.
Oh, really?
They offer that as a service as well.
How much do they charge for that?
I can't remember. It's a nominal fee, and
That may
they
be worth it because you don't
yeah.
want someone breaking in your house.
No, it's an excellent service. They
Okay.
offer free shipping as well.
Okay, I'm gonna check them out. Can you go there in person, or do you just do it online?
Online is the best because you get the best prices, and
Oh,
you
okay,
make an
okay.
appointment and show up there to collect your things. And yeah, they'll receive you on appointment.
To pick up the paperwork, or what would you do?
You can do everything online, but if you want to go and say pick up your big old gold bars, you can go down there and on appointment and pick them.
Excellent stuff. So that's only one place to do that if that's what interests you. But we're very, very concerned with what's going on.
Yeah,
Um, and we're very close, we feel, but it's up to those, like Marcin was saying, what they want to do. If they pull the bubble out, like if they stop this printing of money and pull it back, the whole thing's going to collapse.
yeah.
If they keep printing the money, inflation's going to continue. They're going to devalue. Countries are going to sink further in debt. Something's going to give at some point.
I think we could safely say we could think about this country as somebody without Prime Minister Trudeau, possibly in this round of drama that's coming up. So this is something interesting to think about too. I always think
But
about.
I don't think it would make a difference because they'll just put another establishment puppet in there, right?
This is where I think the people might have something to say about that.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they want to do. We're going to need a massive awakening because most Canadians are asleep. They're programmed.
They
They're
are.
afraid. They're completely out of touch with stuff going on behind the scenes.
It's true. We're at a we're at a bit of disadvantage this way because we're such a giant country. I mean, second largest in the world with only 32 or 33 million people in it. So we're greatly disadvantaged, and we have a crazy man at the helm. So testing out all the stuff on the Canadians because we're kind of weak because we're so spread out.
Yes, exactly, and they've got a pretty comprehensive system of control in place,
They
and
do.
many layers to it. I talked to a veteran the other day. He was fully awake.
Yeah,
Um, he served in the Canadian military. I think he did a couple of tours,
he would
but
be.
he told me things are not as they appear.
They are so not as they
The
appear.
stuff on the surface is not reality.
It is so not. This is what I say. I'm out there blabbing away a lot because I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
see that Canadians are scared, and it's because they don't have any information, and they're a little myopic. Like, look beyond Canada. Like, look beyond your local government. Like, you got to open your eyes.
yeah. If someone wanted to buy Bitcoin, where would they go, Marcin?
I think the nicest place for beginners is the Coinbase exchange. It's pretty easy to get on there with your bank details and uh,
Oh, the Coinbase exchange? Is that just like a pure exchange?
It's just an exchange. Yep. And it's got an
But they also charge like per transaction, don't they?
yeah. There's minor fees and stuff like that. But the way I look at it is, oh, it's just the price of being at the beginning. Those
And
fees,
you said you can go in there and use any debit card?
you can use a bill payment. You can use
You can't use your credit card because they put a limit on it. You can't use PayPal.
some exchanges you can use PayPal.
Is this Coinbase? Do you know the web address or?
It's Coinbase.com.
Yeah, because I went on there. They don't allow PayPal payments.
They might have taken it off because PayPal.
They only allow you to, when you withdraw, to go into PayPal.
Yeah, they
They don't allow pay, and they also charge you a transaction fee for each one, right?
transaction fee and a minor fee and the little fees,
Yeah.
but I'm okay with that because
But then you got to worry about having proof of that ownership, right?
well, you have that. You get, that's what I say. You get all the all your documentation. You can.
So you can print that out. Print that out.
Oh, you could print it out if you wanted
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I usually make the acquisition and then move it over into my wallet. It's a hot wallet, and then bigger sums we move across to a cold wallet, which is offline.
Oh, a cold wallet.
Mm-hmm. And it's very easy. Like when I first started doing this, it wasn't easy. But
What's a cold wallet,
it's
Marcy?
it's offline. It's the way you would store your money offline.
So you would just print it out?
You can get a couple different keys. There's two that are favored. One is Trezor. One is Cold.
Oh, I see.
They have benefits, but Trezor is very popular, and it arrived more or less at the beginning of the scene. Like it was an early one, so it's been around for a while and still working really well. So yeah, that's a good one to store your offline wealth.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So we're going to close it off today, but we will do a follow-up in 3 weeks to see, just track the progress of what's happening. Great. Maybe in the next 3 weeks, there'll be a collapse. We don't know.
Well, certainly there'll be something to talk about.
Yeah, something to talk about. We can talk about our own progress. What moves we made. And but as Marcine said, that's up to you. You got to make up your own mind what you want to do.
That is wild. Why is
what's that?
Sorry, we were talking about Bitcoin, and then I just got a random email about Bitcoin.
Wow.
Well, someone's listening to you.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to thank everyone for the comments. Let's do a follow-up on this. And this is good education for people, Marcine.
It's really fun. I think a lot of us are really worried. So just having a conversation is, I think, more important. Just some nice words. People just express themselves. And
yeah, but end of the day, it's going to allow us to make better decisions, right?
That's it.
Yeah, I think that's really positive. So let's do this in a few weeks. Right now we're at March 11th. So why don't we do, I'll send an email out, but we'll plan something for the first week of April.
Genius. Oh, yes.
And then,
things will be into by
April Fools.
And then we can bring up some more facts of what's going on in the markets, and we can check the money supply and get updated data and just see what's going on.
Good stuff.
Sounds good.
Okay, you guys have a great evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Marcine, for sharing all your insights.
God bless everyone.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.